Dozens of displaced persons are feared to have been killed or abducted by Boko Haram terrorists, while the victims were mostly women who lived in a camp in Gomboru town after fleeing their homes because of attacks by the insurgents. Locals say the abductions occurred when the group went to collect firewood to cook or sell, and reports of the number of people kidnapped vary widely, from nearly 50 to more than 300. Gomboru is 147 kilometers away from Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. Elsewhere in Dikwa, suspected Boko Haram insurgents also burnt down at least 25 newly constructed buildings meant for returning internally displaced persons.
Well, let's cross live to Maiduguri and speak to our correspondent, Sani Adamu. And Sani Adamu, well, this is one big story coming to Nigerians. These are the displaced persons. What more can you tell us, Sani?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yesterday, a report of abduction of dozens of IDPs erupted at Gomboru, mostly women and small children in the bush. They were abducted on their way to fetch firewood in the bush. But there is a kind of conflicting figure surrounding the exact number of the abducted IDPs. Earlier in the morning, there were reports that it is about 200 or 300 IDPs that were abducted. But I spoke to the Borno State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA. He says the number of those abducted is still sketchy, as they are now, as they will go to Gomboru to ascertain, what is on ground before they come to public to tell people the exact number of the IDPs abducted. And it is also good to know that, these IDPs are the ones that protested just last month. They protested about the, hardship and, the poor living condition in the IDP camps. And, these IDPs were not abducted in the IDP camps. They were abducted in the bush. They went to bush to fetch firewood to sell so that they could sustain themselves. So that was, how this unfortunate incident happened to them.
And Sani, it's interesting that you point out that the abduction did not happen within the IDP camps. Otherwise, one will be asking about the state of security at the IDP camps. But then again, it is important to actually underscore the point of security, because Borno State has continued to be, under attack by terrorists and, this kidnappers and Boko Haram. Of course, is there a sense that there's a resurgence of Boko Haram, specifically in Borno State? And is there anything that's looking like security is being beefed up right there in Borno?
Yes, one can actually say yes, because there have been a report of, landmines along the Gomboru road, and also there is also a report of so many pockets of attack in the local government areas. But Gomboru is a bit safe. That's Gomboru, that community. But outside the community, about 2 to 3 kilometers away of the Gomboru, it's not safe. It's not safe. But within Gomboru, there is the security, the civil defense, the Nigerian army, and the civilian JTF. They are there to ensure law and order and to protect the people. But the outskirts is the problem. People cannot go to their farm and come back safely. People could not go to the bush and fetch firewood. People could not go, just 2 to 3 kilometers to get water. One can actually say that there is a resurgence of, breach of security within the state.
Really unfortunate development there. And Sulai, just like you pointed out earlier, government really does need to step up its game.
Speaking of government, before we let Sani go, Sani, before you leave, has there been any official update or statement from the government?
No, so far there is not, there is not any statement from the police, from the Nigerian army, and from the Borno State government. What they told us today is that, they are still compiling the list of the people that were abducted. So up to now, the number of the people abducted is still sketchy. They need to mobilize themselves and go to Gomboru before they will finally, release a statement about it.
Sani Adamu, Rise correspondent there in Borno. Thank you so much. You'll continue to stay on this as developments unfold right there in Borno State.